Your primary objective is to remove each gang's kingpin, Los Muertos' charismatic Don Domingo El Brazo Garcia, the Volt's autocratic Vladimir the Wolf Golyak, and the Shy Gen's enigmatic Wang. Agency intel...
Have you ever heard of the game called Crackdown? No? Well, let me tell you about it. Crackdown is a game that was made for the Xbox 360 and came out in 2007. This game was made by the studio called Real Time Worlds, which is a studio that sadly went bankrupt in 2010. Crackdown was a very bizarre but really special game for the time, giving a new flavor to open world games, adding unique features that weren't seen at the time. Before we get into this video will only be going over the first game, but if this video does well, we can get around to going over the other two as well. But let's get into this. The game starts with a little comic looking style intro giving you the premise of the game. The story is very basic, giving you the plot that you are working for an agency alongside a task force called the Peacekeepers. Your character in particular is very unique amongst the rest, being bioengineered by a scientist that used to work at the agency, but doesn't anymore. The situation is that the agency has been pushed back to the Keep, which is the base of operations for the agency, because of rampant crime that has broken out in 3 different districts around the city from different crime organizations. Your goal at this time is to lead the agency to taking out these groups so that you can maintain order again in the city. Honestly, the intro is very intriguing and gets you pulled into wanting to know more, which I liked. After you finally get done with the cutscene, you get to choose your vehicle in the game. There are 3 different types to choose from, so it's really up to you on what you want to drive. Another thing you get to choose is the character you want to play as. There is a decent variety of characters to choose from, and all have their own unique style to them, so none of them really look the same. But the interesting thing is you see an altered look behind them, which we'll go into in a bit. After you wrap up with choosing a car, you can drive through the tunnel and into your first district. This is where the game takes the leash off and allows you to do whatever you want. The first thing you will realize is the orbs after you wreak havoc on some of the gangs. This is the core mechanic of the game and will play the biggest role throughout it. Throughout playing the game, you collect these orbs by either racing, shooting, melee combat, and a whole bunch of other things. But as you collect enough, it leads to a level up on your skill. Depending on the level that you get, it affects your character drastically, giving you either more power to your hits, better control of your cars, or even more blast radius on your explosives. It's really up to you how you want to pursue these upgrades, which makes the game really enjoyable and gives a lot of player choice. After beating the hell out of a decent amount of gang members, you will start to find gang leaders. These leaders all have their own unique backgrounds and a video to go with it to tell you their significance in the gang. The gangs in the game are all really colorful, giving you 3 different groups. The Los Muertos, which are the drug trade oriented gun ring group that you fight for the first while. The Volk are a Russian militia that runs the vehicle and industrial district, and then the last one is the Shy Gen, which runs inhumane technology labs and are the most elite force. Honestly, the variety between the 3 is very different from one another, which really shows in each and every one of their districts that you encounter. Before we go any further, I want to talk about gunplay and other things. While the shooting is fun, the lock-on mechanic can feel overbearing at times and feel like it's fighting against you, with locking onto people miles away or even dead bodies, while other things like the driving and the melee combat feel really smooth throughout the experience. But the best feeling detail is definitely the parkour. It feels really good traversing through the city collecting agility orbs and mystery orbs along the way. But let's get into how you deal with these gangs. You can take these on however you want by either going for the generals under the kingpin or going right after the leader of the group. It is truly up to you on how you want to go about this, which is great for player choice. One thing you should keep in mind though is going after the higher ups will most likely lead to your death. The first thing that you do is go after the group, the Muertos. Most of their businesses consist of gun rings and vehicles, which are not only talked about but are shown throughout the gameplay in each location you fight again, where all of them look special to the general in the location, giving a different feel to the layout depending on which one you are taking on. Like you are fighting the one in the arena, he is surrounded by cars which are trying to run you over as you go for him. While the gun ring is more of a shootout on the rooftops, giving different types of gameplay which can fit to any player's playstyle. As you kill off these leaders, this can lead to a target on your back, which makes you wanted for a hit for around 3 minutes where gang members constantly spawn to kill you, which is kind of a pain in the ass, but adds the needed challenge that the game needs. Another thing you will notice by this time is after you taking out a couple of the members, the look of your character starts to change from the original look to the character in the background, showing the evolution of your character, which is cool. Another noteworthy thing is the vehicle change. If you are upgrading your car skills, it will upgrade the agency vehicle, not only making it look better, but adding different weapons to mix up the gameplay. But after taking out the Muertos, it leads to a final stand, and this is where you get to fight them and take out the remaining members of the gang and get a cutscene talking about how the district is safe and has a new name. After this, you will probably realize the gameplay loop of this game, which is going for the generals, then the kingpin, and then the last holdout over and over again. While this can be fun for some people, but it can feel repetitive over time. The way they deal with this though is adding little mechanics to spice up the gameplay, like blowing up doors to access areas, pipes that blow up buildings, or even basic stuff like elevators to go to higher levels on a floor. While it does add a little more than just running and gunning, it still can feel kind of boring over time. The second group you go for are the Volks, and this group is pretty much the same as the Muertos, but they do smuggling to get workers and run the vehicle and gas industry. They are a little stronger than the prior group, but most of the stuff feels the same aside from the areas all looking completely different from one another. Sadly, aside from that, they are all just the same group with different guns and outfits. At least with the new weapons that they add, it adds a lot more challenge, giving the enemies rocket launchers and stronger vehicles to deal with in the game. One thing you will realize as well around this time is the story is kind of boring, at least for the first two groups, giving you pretty much the same run-of-the-mill info, but they did throw in some key details which makes it a little bit more interesting. During some of the videos, they go over smuggling, and for some reason they won't go into full detail on how they are able to do it, or even explain how they know specific details about these groups. I know some people would just say that's gathering intel, but some of these things are hyper-specific, like they are a personal interaction between the director and them. The director is the voice you hear throughout the game that nags you non-stop to do whatever he wants you to do, pretty much demeaning your character as much as possible, and trying to sway you from your own path. A perfect example of this is when you kill civilians or peacekeepers. Whether it's on accident or on purpose, he berates you immediately, and same with if you take damage, he judges you. Another thing that he does around this time, if you attack a civilian or a peacekeeper, it will take away levels on your skill tree. So he pretty much punishes you for doing anything that is out of bounds, at least to them. But this goes into the last group you fight. As you're going through this, you find key characters like the scientist that was originally a part of the agency but was let go. You continue to do experiments to make super soldiers, which went terribly wrong, showing that there are even flaws with the agency using people like you, that maybe some problems could arise later, but it's interesting instead of capturing him, they want him dead, which is the only one I truly question on why, because I feel like he would have been much more useful alive. This also leads to a breakout of subjects that overwhelmed their forces and killed them, which plays a role later. Aside from him, they have other people like the Colonel who went rogue, enjoyed Shigen, and a couple others. While this could be just small details, so many of them just don't add up and feel very out of place. As you make your way through the last boss here and wrap up on the last stand with Shigen, it goes into the final cutscene. In this cutscene, it confirms your suspicions, and you learn that the agency was purposely showing a blind eye to all the crime in the area and supporting Shigen just so that they could get total control over the city, with little resistance from the people, making them feel like the agency is needed to have total control to be safe.
In their dominant empires, you have returned law and order to Pacific City. You gave the people back their lives. Thank you. It's taken years of meticulous planning and patience to reach this stage, but it was worth it. Who do you think supplied Los Muertos? Who do you think turned a blind eye to the Volk's activities? Who do you think was Shigen's biggest supporter? Who do you think ran organized law enforcement and ran it into the ground? The people had to experience absolute anarchy before they would accept unconditional control. You are the portent of a new world order, Agent. Pacific City was only the beginning.
The twist at the end is absolutely amazing and makes for a really good, thought-provoking ending, making you question everything that you have heard throughout the game, which I love. Another thing you unlock at this time is the Resurrect All Gangs button to repeat the game with your level intact to fight through the city again, which is a cool detail to truly show your progression you gain. All in all, Crackdown 1 is a very different type of game that feels amazing even now and has a lot of charm to it. Sadly, the next two games weren't able to live up to it, but at least we still have this one to go back to. But if you guys enjoyed the content, make sure to leave a like and a sub. And if you have suggestions for anything else to check out, make sure to leave it down in the comments down below. But I'll see y'all next time. See ya.